Let me take you back to that again. I'm going to show you this here. You have to understand these Canaanites came out of Ham because they was the one, the Canaanites was the one God, Noah cursed from the foundation of the earth after they got on this side. I believe you'll find it in Genesis chapter 9 or 10. But you'll find chapter 10, chapter 10 is where these nation was divided. And you'll find out Ham was the father of the Canaanite and was a Canaanite. Now let me go back and read to you these here. Matthew chapter 10. These first Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, that's verse 2 of St. Matthew chapter 10. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother James, the sons of Zebedee, and John, his brother, Philip the Bartholomew, Thomas, and Matthew the publican, James, the son of Alphaeus, of Lebanon, whose surname was Theudas, Simon the Canaanite. Chapter 4. Go check your Bible. Simon the Canaanite. And Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent forth, and commanded them, saying, Go not unto the way of the Gentiles, and into any man. He said, don't go into the aisle of the Gentiles. He excluded the Gentiles. Something was wrong with the Gentiles. But yet he got one of the Canaanites as his disciple. That let you know, Ham and Shem, the two youngest sons of Noah, his sons was accepted. It tells you that something was wrong with the man who became of the white race who was out of Egypt. It tells you right there. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter you not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, The kingdom of the heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purse, nor scrip for what your journey, neither two coats, neither shoe, nor yet stay, for the workman is worthy of his meat. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till you go thence. And when you come into an house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. Listen what the word of God is saying. This is what he did. He was setting a standard and a difference among the people. But first he wanted to go into the house of the lost sheep of Israel. But yet, he selected a Canaanite to be one of his disciples. This is telling you something right there. And he told him, don't go into the house of the Gentiles. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your word, when you depart out of that house, city, shake off the dust off your feet. Some people just sit there and get this misconception, but they didn't understand the meaning of it. But until Jesus died and went to the cross, the Gentiles had no covenant with God. But when Jesus went and died on the cross, being a mixture of all three nations, this became the replica and the cleansing of the sin of all peoples and all nations, blessing the whole world as it was spoken of by God unto Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, when he spoke and said, "Thou unto your seed, through your seed, the whole world will be blessed." Well, now, there's a foolish man who will go and destroy your blessings. It's a true foolish man who will go to the house that God have created as the foundation of the world to be your salvation. It's a foolish man to go and destroy that house out of spite. This is the way it is. We can't get round the truth. God set this world up purpose. This is the reason I said God creates signs and symbols of the perpetrator who did this. But yet, because of his image, because he's what he stands for, he wants every man to look up to him and obey his word. And he gonna want to set sacred grounds, set standards in front of him, and say, "You hate us. You hate yourself first." Because anytime a man go against God, and God created a way for him to be placed in the book of life, where you had no covenant in this earth, not by angels and not by the way of men, you had no covenant because of the way you was conceived in the earth. Your flesh, sure you're flesh of the human race, but your characteristic in you have became a product of the fallen angels. You know, don't have no covenant with God in heaven because you're a part of man. And you have no covenant with the man because you're part of the angels in heaven. You're just an outcast. Verily I say unto you, verse 15, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment that for that city. Behold, I send you. And let me show you this here part. This is the part I want you. Behold, verse 16, St. Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be you therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. He's going to send you among the men and peoples as sheep among wolves. Sheep is not a predator, it's a prey. Be like a serpent, wise as a serpent, who stalk his prey, who stays around them. But if you get close to him and he find out he's been violated, he'll strike. But he said, be harmless as a dove. Harmless, a dove is dumb. You don't see a dove flying around with an AK-47. You don't see a dove riding around in a tank. I got to bring it out close to you so you can understand what you're talking. You don't see him flying jet aircraft bombing people. You don't see a dove down there. You're supposed to be harmless as dove. But when you go and you pick up that weapon, this is not God's agenda. You're supposed to be a prey, not a predator. This is what's happening today over in Afghanistan, Iraq, and all these nations. They're loaded with weapons over there that they bought from the Gentiles, nations of the Gentiles.